Pandemanium Shadow Poo!
Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters Shadow Show. This is a show we make every other week for our patrons. We talk about a bunch of different stuff. We'll talk about different comics that we like. Matt has programmed in a little free jazz segment where we just talk about what's going on in our lives, what we've been thinking about. We have done a lot this season that if you were watching this, you already know that this is kind of what, could be seen as a, kind of cleanup situation, but really it's just stuff that we didn't have time for in the other seasons that we really want to get around to talking about. So for this episode, we are going to be talking about Eerie Publications, Tales from the Tomb, Volume 5, Issue 2. The numbering is all over the place with this and is really confusing.
Yes.
But Matt, you kind of turned me on to this because I really hadn't read any of it before you sent me the omnibus before. So I didn't understand, I didn't realize that this was a whole thing and that Eerie specifically was very different than the other black and white mags in their philosophy and what they did.
Yeah. It was the publisher was Myron Fass, Fass, and he just kind of saw that Warren money in the late 60s that Warren was getting for all their black and white horror mags and said, I want a little bit of that. And so it's got kind of a fly-by-night kind of reputation. There's like a book called The Worst of Eerie Publications, and it's just some of their more lurid, more gory, more tasteless stories. I think I might have shared in the previous thing that there's a thing called The Whole Bloody Mess. That's just all the covers, because the covers are infamous. Like, they look like they were painted by a high school art student who was stoned, and it's always like like I mentioned this last time, like a wolf man like tearing off a Dracula's leg and beating a Frankenstein monster with it to death, while like a nearly naked woman like cowers and is getting blood splattered all over. Like, they're that type of bizarre and just kind of tacky. And they look like those weird, like, Nigerian posters or whatever. Like, like you see like a Gremlins poster painted like from some East African, whatever those country. It's like kind of like that kind of weird art. But the interiors were frequently stuff where they would take Golden Age pre-code horror stories and repurpose them by either making them gorier by taking the original art and just adding gore. Or that's where I got interested in. I'm like, that's really sleazy. I need to check this out. But by the time they got to where we are, which is 1973, this is like 5 years in, 5 volumes in, and they're actually just stealing stories, which is weird to me. Like, it's not so much just lifting stuff and drawing gashes and blood splatters on things, or erasing clothes and drawing like almost exposed nipples or whatever. This is more like they're taking the story and it's a panel for panel redrawing of a story. They just didn't want to pay a writer, which I think is the opposite. I would expect the opposite. Like, it's like you would buy the art from somebody from a previously published 20-year-old book and just erase all the text and have some teen write a new horror story around it. So I don't understand the model, but it has a rep for just being sleazy and bob in the barrel, and often it is, but I mean, a lot of times these are just literally Golden Age stories. They did not change the dialogue. They did not change the narration boxes. It's just brand new art. So the more I dug into this, because I'm mostly familiar with the covers and just kind of the rep of it, I thought it was funny. And that's why I made those omnibus editions. But digging into this one, I was like, holy crap, these are weird. So do you want to talk about like the nature of the stories in here real quick before we dive in and just do some A/B comparisons between what they stole and like how they did it?
Yeah. So which one do you want to do? Do you want to start out with Satan's Stone?
Yeah, let's just do like one story just as an example, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, I think Satan's Stone I think is a good one. So it is, let's see. So it is originally from, the story it's taking from is from Witch's Tales, which is Harvey, and it's from Witch's Tale number 14 from September of 1952. And Yeah, it's just, I don't know, the synopsis they give is a cold, sparkling rock unleashes a horror that turns a normal, healthy man into a fleshless skeleton. And it's a very, very good encapsulation. But honestly, like, though you said, like, it is weird, like, that's super weird that they did this, but I almost liked every single story's art in this.
So did I.
Every single one. I'm just like, love that art. That art's awesome.
So actually that is not one of the ones that I chose to do the compare the original to the second one. I just want to talk about the Nate, like this one has the story, just to kind of get the sense of like what these are like. So I mean, if someone isn't familiar with Golden Age stuff, can you just tell like what the story is, like the you know, how it's kind of like the classic, like there's a morality thing here with greed.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. It's just this it's a man who, you know, sees this perfect giant diamond, and he's, you know, trying to buy it from this old woman, and then ends up killing her, and just for this diamond. And then I mean, it's just kind of Golden Age in the way that it becomes horror, and it kind of starts poisoning him, and then suddenly his hands are becoming old and his face is becoming, you know, decrepit. His body is disintegrating. And he just kind of keeps going on. And then by the end, he just kind of turns to dust. And then, the diamond is the only thing left behind. And it's a morality tale. It's a very simple, like, kind of Golden Age story about like a, you know, a kind of horror or paranormal story that is just about greed and what greed does to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a typical example. And it's like, you read it in 1973 in this thing, and you're like, it's nice art, pretty basic story. And then you don't know, because no one's credited with anything, that this is a 20-year-old story, right? This is from, like what you said, 1952 or something. So what I'm going to do here, Jacob, is share my desktop and just show you some of these things. This is going to be an edit point, actually. So here's an example of a side-by-side comparison. So this story that was called retitled The Bloodsucker is from Witch's Tales, and it was originally called It. So you can see here, like, it's the exact same content. It's called It, but it's a guy recoiling from this slime monster. Same thing here, redrawn in black and white. In the bottom, we see the scientist and his assistant helping. In the bottom right, you see the college professors telling him that his theories on creating this new life form are absurd. And it's just a panel for panel remake. And isn't this wild? Like, so
weird.
So same thing here. I mean, going down the castle stairs, carrying the vat with the creature in it, the close up of the scientist, the creature crawling out of the vat, it attacking the servant or whatever in his house, then covering her up. I was just tripping out, like, when it would say like it was from, you know, this Harvey horror comic. I was like, oh, then they just changed some words or added some blood or something. But this is like, no, they went for it. Like, this is a full on thing. So I was just tripping out.
That's just so weird. That's such a weird way to rip off something.
Right?
Maybe it's that whole thing of just been like counterfeiting nickels or something like that. You know, so you're just like, you could just steal some nickels. You're like, no. I'm going to take this really long, convoluted way, and we're going to mint our own nickels that'll be counterfeit.
Yeah. So, like, in the bottom here, like, you know, the bottom right panel, like, I thought, well, in the redrawn one, like, you can almost see boobs, so maybe they made it sexy, so that explains it. But then with the original one, it's like, well, there's almost boobs there too.
Yeah.
So that doesn't explain it. It's just, it is a shot for shot. And what weirded me out also, Jacob, is like looking at the middle row here on the left of the original, like, compare that to the redrawn one. The redrawn one's better. I mean, not better, but more detailed, more labor intensive. I think,
you know? the art is better in this one. I think the art's better in the new one.
So yeah, so my whole conception of like, oh, this is this fly by night, cheapy, blah 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 thing, like, well, is it?
Well, did it used to be? So in the volume 1 of these, is it exactly what you thought? Is it the Golden Age story with hairstyles updated with boobs, with, like gashes on, or...
Let me show you.
Okay, that's what it is. There you go.
So here it's color. There's no color, so they added in some line work to do shading and some blood. Right?
Yep.
So there's that, and then there's another example I want to show you. So like this one, look at the bottom row.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same.
Yep.
But the top, like they just inked out where it said horror in the hills and just put black there in the trees where the horror was and just drew this. And so anytime you see this brutish islander caveman ape thing, he's a zombie man.
Okay.
And like he tore her arm off in the redrawn one. And he has exposed ribs. So it's just gore.
See, but
so that
this seems like a money-making venture. This seems like, we're going to take this Golden Age story. We're just going to change it a little bit, which will take like 2 hours, and then bam, we print it, and that's great. Instead of, paying an art, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure they didn't pay him top dollar at all, but an artist like worked really hard on like an 8-page story and made like a good 8-page story.
Yeah. So I'll show you one more, and then what I just showed you is what I expected, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I thought it would just be this, where it's just like, just show her cheek being torn off by a baboon, and that'll sell some stuff. But it started off that way, but then, so here's the same situation. Dead Man's Dance came from Dance of Death. Obviously, a much sexier dancer in the first panel.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, at the bottom, it's just a devil sign on a nightclub. It's a sign advertising the dancing team that's performing. And then here, same exact thing. It's the guy saying, I don't want to pay $100 to have my dancer's suit fireproofed, so she can just dance in the flames without that. And the words are all exactly the same.
But someone redrew every single panel.
Every single panel in this whole thing. And it just blew my mind.
I think it's awesome. Like if this is where they ended up, I'm like, this is actually cool. This is like remixing a cool like Golden Age horror story. It's keeping these elements and putting these new elements in, but someone taking a long ass time to do it. This isn't fly by night art. This is good art.
Yeah. So I guess the revelation to me was my impression of this company as being this sleazy repurposing thing like Martin Goodman would do, right?
Yeah.
In the early days, is not true. These are actually straight up. And many times, I'm looking at both thof these right now. I prefer the redone art.
Everyone you showed me, I prefer the redone art.
So
So is this something? I mean, I guess we really need to go back to the omnibus and maybe see like when the change happened, because I'm assuming that this is volume 5. I'm assuming volumes 1, 2, and 3 are probably exactly what you thought they were.
Yeah, but why would they go the opposite direction? I would expect it to be the inverse, where it's like,
it's easier.
Let's start off trying harder, and then just erase.
No, it's weird.
Just add blood.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, that makes me really want to understand a little bit more about the company, because you're right. The inverse is what normally would happen, but it didn't, and that's weird.
Yeah. So that was a delight. This last few days was like discovering that my impression of this being this sleazy shit is not true. There's some really great art in there. The stories are recycled. Big deal. I don't usually read horror comics for the stories.
No.
So yeah, I learned a lot. And the good news is these are all up on archive.org now. So you don't have to go to any sketchy scanned pages. You don't have to download any zip, hoping that it's all CBZ files that aren't corrupted or with eworms or viruses on the internet. Yeah, you can go to archive.org and download all of these in one giant pack. You can download individual ones. They're all there and they look great.
Yeah.
So,
how weird. And looking just glancing at GCD on the credits on this, I don't recognize any of these artists.
Yeah, I don't either.
But they're very good. Like a lot of these are quite good.
Yeah, and they're like distinct. Yeah, it's not like a house style. They're all trying to ape. Everyone's bringing their own thing, and I didn't recognize any of the names either. I wonder if these were like people that went to art school and just didn't break through, and this was just some people that kind of bubbled under and almost had a career, or just were taking their swing in the art world, or if these are people from Europe or some other places that also just didn't cross over and break through as foreign artists in the American markets.
Yeah, how weird is that? Well, that's a mystery. I'm curious. Now I want to kind of look in more to what and when this change happened and why.
Yeah. I don't think we need to invent any more documentaries that we need to produce, but I really would like a documentary about Myron Fass. Yeah. Because he published some superhero comics briefly, like in like 68, that there was a character called Captain Marvel. So it was like a third or fourth Captain Marvel at that point. And we should actually look at this as a bonus thing for like pack members or something. Jacob, just the super light and quick like we do here. He's a character. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He yells a phrase. I forgot what it was. Like separate, and his limbs pop off of his torso. That's his superpower.
Yeah, that's in a. I thought that was in one of like the collected like weirdest superheroes type books. I think I know it from there.
So I read, I skimmed through an issue where he's meeting a Namor knockoff, and I was like, we need to do this on the show, just like either dramatic read like we would do Power Record style, or just look at it and laugh and just kind of do a screen share and just kind of flip through it and talk.
Oh man, I don't know. The Power Records read through to that sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, we haven't done one for a while, and actually some people were asking like, went back and watched some older ones, like, oh, I love these guys. Why don't you do more? So maybe we should.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so I'm going to start digging for Myron Fass information. The guy sounds very interesting, and like you said, I want to find that exact point where the tipping point was, where he decided to pay to have actual art done and not just draw gore onto 20-year-old comics.
Weird.
So weird. So yeah, I was hoping for more answers, or just to kind of spread the word of something sleazy that I thought was amusing, that I've known about for, a few years, not long. But yeah, just kind of made a bigger mystery for me more than anything else. Yeah. It's more myths and dragons than there were when I started.
Strange, but cool. No, so, I'm glad you kind of unraveled this. Now we get another mystery. Yeah.
So this went on until like 81. It's like 81. Somebody gave me one from like 82. That was when I started getting kind of obsessed with them. I was like, these were still out in like 82. Like, I think it was one of the last ones published, like Witch's Tales. Yeah, he had a falling out with his partner, and that guy went off and formed Harris. Do you know Harris Publications?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that they were business partners up until 76, I think. And then they had a huge falling out, and that guy went off and formed Harris Publications or Publishing, and Myron Fass kept doing this until 81, 82, and then stopped.
Weird.
So, yep, that's a little nugget of Bronze Age comics history. That's what we do on the Shadow Show now, Jacob.
That's what we do, and I love it. I love what we're doing on this. I love the retooled format. I love doing these. So yeah, it was really cool. There's a lot of cool research you did.
And do you like being like Prometheus and bringing the fire of obscure comics to the people?
Well, that's what we enjoy most. That's what we've always enjoyed most.
Yeah. I do love these quick hits here. We're just kind of get to dive into something, and it's not a lot of baggage. I don't have to take notes. Just kind of dive in, show some stuff, get out. It's like a good bank heist.
It is. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, I think next up on the Shadow Show, Matt, you have a free jazz scheduled for us. So yeah, you gonna have one of your Matt's takes?
I think I've got a Matt take or two of brewing. I'm also gonna do a nice thing. I'm gonna share some. Since we are in the last year here, I want to share some like comics that I've loved that maybe we've never talked about, and I've never really, I think, don't have enough love from people in general. So maybe share something that's something I've loved for like a decade or two, and
nice
needs more eyes on it.
So you'll do some Rex and some Matt's musings, maybe.
Yes.
Awesome. What I'm going to do, Alicia and I we moved into a new house, and I did a lot of research on the house at the library. And so, yeah, I'll tell a little bit about the cool stories I found out about the house we're living in now.
I'm looking forward to that. I want to hear the histories.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it'll be a good story. So, yeah, that just means you need to check out the next episode of The Shadow Show, which will be coming to you in 2 weeks.
That's right.
All right. And like we like to end it. So, hail Satan.
Hail Satan. God bless Myron Fass.
That's a bonus show. Shadow Show.
That is a bonus show. Shadow Show.
Shadow.
Oh, it needs a very dramatic whisper. You're right. Shadow Show.